Quick video on how to rebuild these spree starter motors. You can get some aftermarket parts from a Suzuki, I believe, that helps you rebuild the insides. So step one, take the unit off of your spree. You can see this one's kind of a mess, some bit of rust in here. Hopefully it doesn't cause too much of a problem. I'm going to take these two little screws out from the sides. Now we got to see how to tap this thing open. Looks like this cover's sliding off. There we go. So I don't know if this thing will ever work again, but it's really crudted up in there. So we'll spend some time cleaning that out. And that's probably the main problem with this one. The windings in here. And then there's a set of brushes that need to be swapped out too. Got a bolt here, another one here. So we dig a little deeper, see if we can clean this corrosion off and see what the rest of it looks like. These are going to want to strip. So probably going to soak it in some mystery oil. This here's what I mean when I say mystery oil. It's literally called that. But if you soak parts in this, it seems to seep in pretty good and loosen things up. So I'm afraid of stripping this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, soak that, and then we'll be back. All right, so this thing's soaked with some mystery oil, and now they worked. I was able to crack them open, so go ahead and loosen these up, take them out. Never done this before, but I was reading about it. I figured to give it a try. Magnet strong. This must be one of the brushes here. There's got to be a bearing in here too. O-ring there. Got some kind of rubber gasket going along here too. All right, let's go try this, tapping it out in the vise. Something soft under here in case it falls out. Feels like it's moving. Yep. So here we go. About halfway out now. Try to tap it out and see. Yeah, it looks like it started to move. There we go. That is one old rusted up bearing. Looks pretty good. So the 85s and below have 10 teeth, I believe, and 86, 87 have 11. Let's check this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11. That makes sense. This came out of an 87. Go down there still. So it's got 11 teeth. So this will work on an 86 or 87. So we got a new bearing, which seems to be a good match. The old one, toast, it is rusted shut. See if we can't tap that bearing back end to the race here. There we go. And we got the bearing seated in the housing. Go ahead and put these plastic isolator pieces here. And then we'll put the holder to get ready to put the brushes in over the top. The bolt here without a washer, and bolt with a washer. The one with the washer goes on this side. Bolt with the without the washer holds this other brush. And you can see there's a little 90-degree bend in the brass here. Fits right in this little corner. Fits right here in this corner. Just like that. That snug. Now in these cavities here and in here is where these springs are going to go, and they push on the back of the brushes, and you can just barely see that the brushes, these are worn, curved a little bit. That's where it's been making contact here as it rotates. So that's the tricky part, is getting that spring in there behind the brush, pushing on that piece. There's one. Just going to get this brush lined up, and then we'll worry about getting the shaft here through the center. There's one. Here's our second one. All right. Gonna go ahead and put some grease down on the bottom here that this will rotate on. Put your rubber gasket here. All right, so now we're going to put the shaft in between the brushes and into the housing. This is the tricky part. I'm going to get it started, and then I'm going to try to take advantage of that washer to hold the brushes back and allow the shaft to drop in. So I got it started. I got the shaft in there, and the brushes against the shaft, but they got to go back out because they're going to have to touch here. But they're spring-loaded, so you can see that's problematic. Got some surgical forceps here to hold that in place. Got one. Free up some hands. Okay, here's number 2. Can't get him to back up. Sprung out on me. Okay, here's number 2. Okay, I got him back at this point, but tough part's going to be I need a set of 4 of these clamps. But we'll see if we can do it. Let's see if we got past the edge there. Just about. There we go. That's a pain. That's probably the hardest part of the whole operation here. And if you get 2 pairs of these where you can grip and then lock it, these will work great. You could grab it right here and right here at the same time, drop it in, let them off. It'd be very easy. All right, so we got our rubber gasket here. Now, this is another part that's a little bit difficult, getting that to line up, because those magnets are going to want to pull this to the side and not let you line it up straight. And you got to look for these marks here so that you put it in straight the first time. So this is the way it's going to go down on top. Looks pretty close. I'm going to go ahead and put them screws in and start tightening it down. Then it'll start to snug up. It actually seems to press into the back a little bit too. If you just try to freehand this, pushing it together, it won't go all the way until you get the screws in and take up that last bit of gap. Okay, we're back together. We're spinning freely. Last little bit here is an O-ring. Goes on the outside here. And there you go. You've got your, in this case, it's a 87 starter motor for the spree rebuilt. I'll go ahead and put some electricity on it, give it a quick test. All right, got to do a little quick bench test. Got our motor here. Got this hooked up to a battery down below, 12 volt. Connect the ground. Do a little touch here to the positive. Look at that. No problem. There you go. Well, that's how you rebuild a starter for Honda Spree. Got all kinds of other fixing videos for these scooters coming up, so please subscribe. And if this video helped you forward the link to your buddies, and hopefully if you got a problem with your starter dying, you see that it's simple enough that there are replacement parts available on eBay that you could just put inside it and keep your starter going for another 30 years. Best of luck.